Start of the Reed Wilkins, 6:30 Chad.
Thanks, Sean. Hi, Mike. Mike, there are some guys on the team who have been in conversations for the awards that are given out at the end of the year, including you. Do you give any thought to your merits as a candidate for the Vezina Trophy?
I honestly hasn't crossed my mind once this year, to be honest. I haven't. So the least of my concern right now, I think if I'm playing well, helping this team win and getting to the playoffs was obviously goal number one. And then at this point in my career, there's only one thing I'm focused on right now. And I think everyone knows what that is. Okay.
Take us through what it's like for the final week of the season here. You guys know you're in. You're pretty sure you're going to finish second place. Does the approach change? Do you have to give yourself little extra reminders? Okay, like let's push to the finish line, or what's it like now?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think, I've personally been in this position before. I think a bunch of guys have on our team. It's not the easiest spot to be in. Obviously, we're excited about being in the playoffs. I think everyone's excited about getting going in important games. But saying that, I think it's something that's been talked about in our locker room that we don't want to be limping in. We want to be playing good hockey. We want to be doing good things in games. We want to be, implying our habits that have gotten us this place. It's too easy to switch it off, and then it's not as easy to turn it back on. So I think it's something that we've definitely talked about, and we definitely want to be playing good hockey going in.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
So the whole hockey world, Mike, is focused a little bit, on Connor McDavid and his 100 points. He might get it tonight. He's had lots of 4-point games before. Maybe just a thought on, we know, what everyone thinks of him as a player. He's an incredible player. What about his season? What about peeling off 100 points in inside 56 games? Give me some perspective on that.
I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. He's been a horse for us for sure, and obviously a big reason why we've had success this season, and obviously a special talent that just continues to improve, which is mind-blowing in itself. You see a kid that's been in the league for 5 years now, or 6 years, I'm not quite sure the number, but you see how much he's improved already in that span of time. And as an 18-year-old, he came in and was doing some pretty special things, but to continue to improve on it is a huge credit to Connor as a player and as a person, and the drive that he has to be an impact player every single night on the ice, which is something in itself. So obviously incredible feat, and I don't know why he's just settling for 100. I think there's higher goals out there that he can hit.
Do you, back in 1981, even you weren't born then yet, Wayne Gretzky scored 5 goals to hit 50 goals in 39 games in Edmonton here. And it was just the most memorable night ever, man. Everyone who played in that game remembers it. Everyone who was on his team remembers it. Is this a special night? If Connor can get to 100, are guys going to, would be a lot of fun to be part of something like that, Mike?
Yeah, I think anytime one of your teammates hits a milestone, you're thrilled for him, you're happy for him, and Connor deserves it. He works extremely hard at his craft. People only see a tidbit of, how hard he works, to get to how good he is and to be one of the best players in the world that's ever played. So I think, like I said, it's a huge credit to Connor as a person, as an athlete, that he's never just happy with what he's done. He wants more. So I think that's it's something that I've noticed this year for sure, that just he's taken a huge step as far as being a big leader on this team, and not only on the ice but off the ice, and it's been fun to be a part of.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Mike, Ryan Miller is retiring at 41. Would you still like to be playing when you're 41?
I'm just taking it one day at a time right now. That seems like pretty far away already, but you know what I mean? I'm obviously Ryan's had an incredible career, and to be playing, you know, into your late 30s and early 40s is obviously a unique feat in itself. So I'm just really enjoying the ride right now, to be honest. I think it's, I love to be on a playoff team. I love to be competing for the Stanley Cup, and to be doing it at my age is I'm still as hungry as I was when I was younger. So I think probably when that day is gone and I don't have that hunger for it anymore and that competitive aspect of it, I think probably it'll be time to hang them up. But I still have the drive to want to compete to win and to help this team do whatever I can to get where we want to go. And you know, it's been a difficult season, obviously being away from the family in a unique situation, but I still feel like I have a lot to give, have a lot to prove to not only myself, but the rest of the, you know, the rest of the people around. And I'm looking forward to, like I said earlier, playing in important hockey games again.
Goalies' wins and losses are the most important thing, as Grant Fuhr always told us, not, you know, save percentage and stuff. But there's only 5 goalies, from what I understand, of your age that have ever had a save percentage over .920, and they include Jacques Plante and Hasek and Luongo and stuff. Does a goalie save percentage? Is that something a goalie looks at?
I honestly haven't looked at my stats once this year, so I couldn't even tell you what they are, to be honest, and that's the dead hard truth. I want to win. That's it. It's plain and simple. I want to win. I want to help this team. I want to do whatever I can to help this team win, and on and off the ice, I'm just trying to be a good leader and try to do my part to push us in the right direction and to win. That's what it's all about for me. I mean, I couldn't agree with Grant more. I mean, that's why we play. That's why, you know, I've played as long as I have, to chase the dream and to, you know, to win as a team. And nothing's more fun than to win as a group, and I just love that part of it.
Jack Michael, 630 Ched.
Mike, you said earlier you're enjoying the ride. You've been on a lot of these heaters over the course of your career where you're playing just really well. What's the difference when you're in the midst of one of these as opposed to when you're not? Do you feel it mentally or physically? Is there a tangible difference?
I mean, to be honest, Jack, it's hard to answer that question because every year is different. It seems like every year is different. The flow of the season's different. Your team changes. You know, I've played on multiple teams now, so you're constantly getting used to new players in the team and new surroundings. So I think I've mentioned this before in interviews. I think you just, as a goalie, you can't do it by yourself. And that's something that I really believe in. And you can do your part. And, you know, hockey's the ultimate team sport. You know, you're not going to win with 1 or 2 or 3 players. So you need everybody, and that's something that we've talked about, you know, over the course of the season. Obviously, we have, you know, 2 of the most talented hockey players in the world, but we're not going to just win with Leon and Connor, you know, and a goaltender. I think we need everybody. You know, I'm just one piece of the puzzle, and hopefully it's a right fit that we can do something special.
Have you gotten better in staying in these kind of moments than you did when you were 25? Are you better at maintaining?
For sure. I think, you know, I mean, I'll be the first one to admit I didn't handle myself very well as a young kid in this league, and the emotions of the game, the ups and downs, you know, outweighed the how I could handle it, and I feel like I have a good grasp on that now. Obviously, I've been through a lot of different situations in this sport, and none I've taken for granted, but have learned a lot from. And I think have made me a lot better player in this league at my age. And, you know, I have a lot of, you know, people and teammates that have helped me along the way, but definitely have a better grasp on it at my age now.
Rob Dudkowski, Post Media.
You talk about pieces to the puzzle. When a team's going really well and you have guys like Connor and Leon and yourself who are just, turning in these fantastic seasons, sometimes there's not enough spotlights to go around. I wonder if you could maybe talk about the impact Darnell Nurse has had on where the Oilers are at this season.
Yeah, I mean, Nursey's taken a huge step in his career, and it's paid dividends for our group. He's been a huge leader for our team this year, on and off the ice, and he's getting rewarded for his hard work, and it's paying off for him. And it's, like I said, our team is reaping the benefits for a guy that's, put in the time and the effort to, to improve on his game. And Nursey's played huge minutes for us this year, and like I said, has gotten reward for it on the scoreboard, but more importantly has helped this group get to where we are. And he might get, overshadowed by some other players in the team, but Nursey's had as big of an impact on the team as anyone else. So I think he deserves a lot of credit for sure.
Just on another line here, the NHL said today that the U.S. teams are going to get some of their COVID restrictions lifted heading into the playoffs for the fully vaccinated teams and players. Some light at the end of a tunnel as a player on a Canadian team. Are you eager to get to that point as well? And when do you see that day coming?
Yeah, obviously it'd be nice. I think we've been locked indoors for it seems like quite a while. So obviously when you see stuff like that happen in the U.S., it's hopefully it's coming here soon and we can go back to normal life at some point.
Thank you. If there are no more questions, this concludes Mike Smith's media availability. Thank you. Back media, we're joined by Darnell Nurse. Again, if you have questions, please use the raise hand function. Start with Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
Hey, Darnell, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Awesome, man.
That's question one. Just joking.
Sorry? Just awesome. Just awesome. So it's a big night, right? It's hockey night in Canada. Connor McDavid, he needs 4 points to get to 100. We've seen him get 4 before. I guess your thoughts on sort of the magnitude, like us out here on this side of the camera, we're making a pretty big deal out of 100 points in 56 games. What would it be like for the rest of the Oilers to watch their teammate pull that off tonight?
Yeah, obviously, even the fact that we're having this conversation about a guy maybe having the opportunity to get 100 points in solo games, I think it's incredible that we're even at this point. So it's been a lot of fun to watch as a teammate of his. It's been obviously very special, but it just goes to show the work that he puts in each and every year. He comes in and seems to be a completely different animal, and then just adds on top of the game that he's already developed. So it's awesome to see that he's at this point, and I know he's definitely capable of it.
He has all the great players have that sort of feeling for the moment, right? The cameras are bright tonight. It's a game across the country. He says he's not thinking about it at all. What do you think he is?
Yeah, I think he's with the spotlight that's on him all the time. I think he's pretty good at just putting that to the side and going out and performing and worrying about the game, worrying about each play as it is and shift by shift. I think that's what players like that, the best players in any sport, they just have the ability to put all that side noise to the side and play and perform and just worry about the game and the task at hand. So I think if he says it like that, I'm pretty sure that's how he approaches it too.
Reed Wilkins, 630 Ched.
All right, Darnell, I know that you're an extremely competitive individual, but I would also say the same thing about Mike Smith, and he's been in the league longer than you have. What have you learned from Mike Smith over the last couple of years about competition, managing emotion, drive, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about Smitty is he comes in every day, and whether it's practice, game, workout, like he wants to perform at the highest level. And if there's any type of score being kept, I think he might be one of those few individuals that's keeping score no matter what's going on, even if there's not a clock to show it. So Smitty he's really brought out, you know, the drive within our group, the drive within our team. I think whenever you have the opportunity to play alongside someone who's played in the league at the level that he's played at for the amount of time he's played, you know, it pulls out the best, not only, you know, in you as an individual, but also as a team. So yeah, his competitive attitude and then, you know, the way he brings it each and every day, I think it's infectious within our room. It's infectious, you know, within the culture of our team. And, you know, we've been really fortunate to have him and, you know, have him really lead the way in a lot of departments, you know, for the last couple of years.
With the play with McEwen that he got suspended for, I got to admit, I didn't really catch it till later when it started being talked about for a suspension. I know you were kind of down on the ice. Like, were you blatantly aware right away, like that was a knee coming at me? Because he was kind of an angle behind you too. I'm just wondering how that played out for you.
Yeah, no, you know, like at the time I got high stick and I was bleeding, so high stick is a high stick. It happens a 1,000 times in a year. But yeah, I was definitely aware when I got knee in the head and I didn't really see it coming. So, you know, like I'm not gonna sit up here on my high horse. Like I've never done anything dirty in my career, and it happened. And you know, for me, you just leave that on Thursday night and move on. Obviously, you always have a long memory, but yeah, those things happen in the heat of the moment, heat of the battle, and yeah, it's you move on from it.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Darnell, late in the season was when you wanted to fight McEwen. Was there ever a thought, you know, the playoffs are coming, I don't want to fight in case something happens to my hand?
You know, at the moment, I don't know. It's been a while since my like emotions and whatnot have gotten that high. So at that moment, no, you don't think too much of it. But you know, looking at it now, there's so many bigger and more important things to worry about coming up here in the next week or so. So yeah, I'm looking forward to just, you know, as a team, we need to get our game back on track and play well tonight, play hard. And then, you know, carry the momentum we can into the playoffs, because that's the most important thing right now.
Have the Oiler players been vaccinated yet? Have you been vaccinated?
I think some have. Yeah, it's coming. Hopefully everyone can get vaccinated soon. So I know there's some things coming out in the States where teams will have a little more freedom, and obviously, you know, that's something that we hope up here can come soon.
Thank you.
Rob Duchkowski, Post Media.
Now, all season long, you guys have been playing teams in 2, 3, sometimes even in 4-game stretches. Is there value in that, in preparing a team for the way it's going to be in the playoffs when you're looking at 4, 5, 6 games in a row against the same team?
Yeah, I think when you play those little series, you make adjustments throughout the series, and a lot of that carries over to playing, you know, in the playoffs, and having to make adjustments on a game-to-game basis, even shift-to-shift basis. But those are definitely aspects of the game that are valuable when you get into later in the season and into the postseason. So yeah, those are things that we can take from this year and what we did well, how we adjusted to certain game plans and how the game was being played, and tie that into the postseason as well.
There's an interesting balance for you guys going down the stretch, because as you said, you don't want to limp in, you want to be gaining momentum, but at the same time, human nature sets in and you realize the games don't mean a whole lot and you want to stay healthy. How do you strike that perfect balance between, not spending everything you have on a meaningless stretch game, but at the same time picking up speed somehow heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't know the holding back thing. I don't know if I have that one in me. Every time you go out there and play, you want to win, and you're not going to win in this league no matter what time of the year it is, no matter what position the team is in, whether in the playoffs or other. You're not going to win in this league if you show up and don't give your all. So that's I think as a player, every time you put on your uniform and every time you go out there and play on the ice, it's non-negotiable. You got to go out there with the mentality to win.
Ryan Rishaug, TSN.
Hey, Darnell, when we asked Connor about this 100 points, he sort of shrugs it off like it's not something that's going to be too big a deal for him. I just wonder if you're noticing in his focus this year what sort of tone he's setting for the group. Obviously not happy with the way things went last year, and he seems pretty singularly focused. Is that what you guys get from him too?
Yeah, I mean, he's coming. He wants to win. That's and that emotion and that drive, it's infectious. There's another thing that's infectious in the group, and something that when your leader just comes in with that mindset that winning is the only thing that we care about, and guy to guy, I think everyone can tell you the same thing. That's the approach that we've had all year. That's the approach that is going to continue throughout the games upcoming. So yeah, he's come in driven and hungry, not so much for personal success, but more for success of the team and making this a memorable year. And I think with that drive, obviously his personal stats and the personal success came just because he was focusing on what we could do to be better as a team and what we could do to win. And it's been great. Our group has really bought into that as well.
Thank you. If there are no more questions, this concludes Darnell Nurse's media availability. Please stay tuned for Dave Tippett. by head coach Dave Tippett. We'll start with Rob Tychkowski, Post Media.
Hi, Dave. Just looking at Connor's logs, he's got 3 or more points in 7 of his last 9 games. I mean, it's just not normal. What have you seen from him in the last couple of weeks that elevated his production from a level that was already better than everyone else? What clicked?
I don't know. He's really concentrating on getting his game in order for playoffs, and that's what we've talked to all our players about. Continue to raise your level and get ready. And he's, he comes into every game. It's crazy how it goes. He gets so many chances and creates so many chances that, sometimes those pucks go in the net for either him or who he's setting up, and other times they don't. But he's been on a pretty good run here lately. But it's about him making sure his game's in order, get ready for playoffs.
This must be contagious throughout the lineup. You see with the way he plays, what he says when he comes out here. Darnell and Leon, when they come out, Mike Smith are all kind of preaching that same party line. That must be kind of a lot of what you want to see and hear heading down the stretch.
It is. We've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now. It's just there's preparation that has to take place long before the playoffs start, and we've tried to push that. The other night we didn't have a very good start in the game, which will be addressed today. That's got to be, there's things that in your game that have to be in place. So you're not changing anything going to the playoffs. You've got everything up and running where you feel like you're comfortable with everything. So that's our goal, to keep pushing ahead. And there's times when you got to grab it a little bit. The other night wasn't the game we wanted. We got to make sure we come out and play a much better game tonight.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Dave, as a coach, when a player like Darnell Nurse has a fight this late in the season with the playoffs coming and the fact that lots of guys break their hands in fights, do you hold your breath when there's fights late in season with the playoffs coming?
Well, there is that factor. I'd be lying to you if I told you that you don't think about that, because there is a worry, but there's also a game to be played, and Nursey, and now you see, I was wondering why he was so mad. Now I know why he was so mad. The guy kneed him right in the head, so that's just part of the game that happens, and you got to be, you don't want your players getting hurt. But that being said, there's the emotion, and the game takes over sometimes.
Player changes tonight. Will Kulikov be out?
Yeah, Kulikov is dealing with a lower body injury, so precaution-wise, we'll keep him out tonight. Lagesson will go in for him.
And what's the story with Haas? He's been out now for quite some time. Is this?
Yeah, he's dealing with.
Worrisome, or is he going to be ready for the playoffs?
No, he'll be ready. He'll be ready. He's skating again, so he took a shot off the foot that it's continue to improve, and hopefully we'll get him back in the lineup here soon.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
Okay, this is a bit of a long shot, Dave. December 30th, 1981, you were playing your first year in North Dakota. Gretzky scored 5 to get 50 and 39. Do you remember that?
No, I remember seeing it on highlights and that, but I don't. It wasn't I'm sure it was looked upon as an unbelievable accomplishment then, but I was a young guy in college. Back I had a lot more to worry about than Gretzky scoring 5 goals.
Okay, so you ended up playing against Gretzky throughout your career.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get on Connor, prepare for Connor here, because the big stars, they kind of see the spotlight, and you know what? If you got 4 tonight, it wouldn't surprise anybody. You played against Gretzky. What was it feeling being a player on the ice when Wayne Gretzky was on the other team?
That he was going to embarrass you. I was one of those guys that had to chase Gretz around and try to keep him off the board, and you're playing for your life then, because you know that's going to be a hard job for you that night. So it's the elite players they have a knack of having an impact on the game, and when you're playing against them, you're just hoping that impact isn't to the point where A, you lose the game, B, you get embarrassed. So that's certain players have that. I played a year with Mario in Pittsburgh, and there'd just be games where he would just be dominant, and you could tell the other team was trying to check him and trying to do everything they could to stop him. And certain players just have that element that they have a huge impact on the game, and Connor's in that group.
Thank you.
Daniel Nugent-Bowman, The Athletic.
I was going to ask you about that, Dave. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Mario was a little bit older when you were teammates with him, and Connor's just right in the prime of his career. Is there any kind of comparison between the two in the way that you get to have been able to watch them up close?
Well, it's hard to compare the two. The comparison you make is the impact they have on their team and the game, and as eras change and the game continues to change, there's different ways that players impact the game. Mario's didn't do as much with speed that Connor does with speed, and so there's different eras in the game. But in the end, the players like that, they have a huge impact on the game, and that's. Elite players have the capability of doing that, and that's, Mario had that capability and Connor has that capability.
So notwithstanding Thursday's game, which you didn't like, obviously, this team has been on a tremendous roll for weeks. What is an area or two? Are there a couple areas that you can kind of pinpoint that you're really trying to iron out? Because it seems from afar that things are going relatively well here.
No, we're always digging into details of our game, habits of our game, areas that we have to make sure we're in place going in. We address a lot of those things every day, so we just have to continue to improve, continue to make sure our game's in the right place. Right now we're tinkering around trying to find the best fit for lineup and combinations, and some of that will not be finalized until we figure out who we're playing. But it's there's lots to work on here. There's lots to continue to improve, and that'll be our goal here the last 4 games.
Ryan Rashog, TSN.
Dave, we asked Connor about this 100-point thing, and he'll answer the questions, but generally speaking, he tends to not make a big deal of it. Do you notice and sort of appreciate his tact, the way he seems to be more singularly focused on the team and preparing for the playoffs? Do you think he's handled this the right way?
I think that's exactly it. That's who he is. He's really dialed into making sure our team is ready to go for the playoffs, and it's just like we talk about getting our team ready. Like, if we play a certain way, the standings and the ability to win will be in place. And I'm sure he thinks that about his own game. If he plays as well as he can, the points thing will take care of itself, whatever it is. So he's really dialed in on making sure that we're moving the right direction, doing the right things for the playoffs, and I'm sure if he feels he does his part, the stats will take care of themselves.
This isn't specific to the other night because it obviously wasn't a good start, but what would your observation be about your team and its ability to start games on time, how important that is, and how you think you are with that?
I think we've been very solid all year. The last 2 games haven't been near as. We made a bad mistake in the first shift of the game in Vancouver, and the second game in Vancouver, and then we had poor coverage the start of the one last game. So those are certainly situations that we want to address, but that hasn't been an issue for our team all year.
Jim Matheson.
A couple of things, Dave. Will Shore play tonight? Will Ennis play tonight?
Shore will play. Ennis won't play tonight.
Okay, and have you been vaccinated? Because you're a little bit older and you're in that age group like the rest of us in Alberta that you could have been vaccinated.
I have my first one under my belt, yeah.
Okay, and have you been told that, the team, because the American teams, obviously, they're relaxing their situation, and as long as their players are vaccinated, and lots of their players have been. Is it, the way it is in Canada? Has the team been vaccinated? No. We're going to be at a distinct disadvantage from the vaccination point because of the U.S. is just ahead in the vaccination process that we are.
Thank you. If there are no more questions, this concludes Dave Tippett's media availability.